Hello guys, this is Kudo, and today in this video I will show you how you can use Sprite Atlas and why you should use it instead of drag and dropping your sprite into your image or do another thing. So grab Unity, your Visual Studio, and let's get into it. So let's go on our script folder. Let's create a C# script, okay, and let's call this script so Sprite Atlas. Actually, let's call it abstract. So abstract Sprite Atlas. So basically, this will be our mother class who will iterate on every other classes. So let's click on it and let's open it in Visual Studio. Alright, so after opening it in Visual Studio, what we need to do, we don't need the update function, so we can erase this. What you need to do, you need to import some DLL, so let's add using Unity Engine, so Unity Engine .ui, because we'll use some UI. And what we need to do, you need to also to import, so using Unity.engine, and what we need to do is the point U2D. So basically it's for Sprite 2D and Sprite Atlas. So about the start function, what we want to do, we want to add protected, so protected virtual. So basically the virtual void allow me to override the start function when I will iterate this classes with another class. So let's add some other fields. So let's add a serialized field, and what we want to add is a private, so private, okay, oops, sorry, private Sprite Atlas, okay, and let's call this Sprite Atlas, okay. What we need to do, so let's create a protected, so protected, again the I don't know if you know it, but protected allow us to access this variable from another classes, so it's very nice. So let's create a protected image and let's call this one image container, so image container, okay. Let's create another protected, so protected string, okay. So this will be the default value, so default value of our sprite will choose in the inspector. So default value will be equal to like this, okay. So at least I initialize it. And what we need to do, so we need to create another function. Let's call it protected void set sprite atlas to image, okay, and this will take in parameter a sprite atlas. So let's call this sprite atlas, okay, and it will take in parameter a string, so it will allow us to retrieve the image in the sprite atlas, sprite name, okay. So don't worry, I will explain again everything, and it's not that difficult, trust me. So basically in this function we'll do image container, so sorry, image container dot sprite will be equal to sprite atlas dot get sprite, and we'll try to get the sprite from the sprite name, okay, like this. We can save this, and what we need to add, so basically in the start function we need to get the image component. So we'll make a check, so if image container equal to null, so if it's not initialized, what we want to do, we just want to make image container, so sorry, so image container will be equal to this dot game object dot get component, and will retrieve the image, okay. We can save this, and what last thing we need to do, so I will use the onValidate function. I don't know if you're familiar with the onValidate function, so let me explain this. So I will comment this. So this function get call each time value on editor change. So basically, so let's me create the function. So let's create a protected. So protected again virtual, because maybe I will need to override it on other classes. So virtual void onValidate. So onValidate. So make sure to have the spelling correct, because Unity will not retrieve it if you make an error by writing it. So, and in this function, so as you can see, this function get called each time the value on editor change. So basically, if I head back to Unity, each time some value change here on the, oh sorry, it's on inspector, not editor, sorry. Each value change in inspector, so sorry. So basically, each time value is changed, let's back to Unity. On the inspector, basically, this function will be called. That's easy like this. So let's head back to Visual Studio. And what we want to do in this function, so basically, I will check, because this onValidate function is also called even if Unity is not running. So basically, it will run even if I not click on play on Unity. So I need to make some checks. So if image container equal to null, so what we want to do, basically, we just want to call this function, okay? And what I can do, I just let's create actually a private, because I don't like rather than code. So private void initialize image, okay? And basically here I will do this, like this, like this, like this, like this, okay? And here, why, maybe some people maybe ask why I'm calling it on the start function. I will just answer you right now, is just in case I instantiate a new UI. Because the onValidate function is very nice when you drag and drop and you do some pooling, but if you instantiate, the onValidate function is not calling. So what I want to do is here, case when instantiate UI, okay? And so I initialize image, okay? And what I want to check is if Sprite, so where is Sprite Atlas? So yeah, if our Sprite Atlas, this one, different to null, so if it's existing, and of course image container is also different to null, it's different than null, what we want to do, we just want to call the function, so this one, so here, and what we want to add in parameters, so basically the Sprite Atlas, okay, and basically the default value of our function. Okay, so now we got the mother classes, so we can remove this because we don't use it. So we can save this, and now let's head back again to Unity to create our other function, other classes, who will inherit from this one. So let's head back to Unity. And let's create a C# script, and let's call this one icon UI element. So element, and let's icon UI element maybe Sprite Atlas to make sure, and let's open it in Visual Studio. Okay, so we don't need this function. What we need is to erase mono behavior and erase it from abstract sprite atlas. We can save this, and now what we want to do, I like to use enum, but it's basically up to you, but the enum is very nice. So let's create a private enum, so private enum, and in this enum what I want to do is just to create an icon UI elements. Okay, and basically in this enum I will list all the UI I want to create. So basically if I head back to Unity and I check this sprite I just created in the test UI sprite, so I got arrow down, arrow left, arrow right, arrow up. Okay, so now let's head back to Visual Studio, and what I want to do is just basically name this enum as I name is as a sprite atlas. So make sure to not mistake the spell, because it is very important. So let's call this one arrow down. Okay, do not forget the W. Arrow up, arrow, oops, not 3R, arrow left, and arrow right. Okay, and let's create, so let's, sorry, oops, serialized field. Let's create a private, so icon, so icon UI element like this, and let's name it so UI element, so element. Okay, and what we want to do, basically very easy, so let's call the unvalidate function, and in this function we just want to, sorry, so protected override, and what we want to override is a void onValidate function. So we will use the base onValidate, but before calling the actual base onValidate, so basically base onValidate we call the function here, so this part of this function, but before calling this part of this function, because this is the mother classes of this classes, we just want to so default value will be equal to, so basically our UI element dot to string like this. So we can save this, and now we can head back to Unity. So on our image, so let me show you. So what I want to do, let's duplicate some image. Maybe 500 by 500 is too much, so let's make 100 by 100. Okay, so image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4. Okay, so let's maybe put minus 200. Okay, or maybe minus 400 will be nicer. Okay, oh no, 4000. Minus 200 like this. Plus 200. Okay, and this one, okay, maybe 400. Okay, so basically, as I told you, right now I got some different image with some image arrow. So what I'm gonna do, so let's click on it, let's remove all the image, so let's click on none, and as you can see, you got some white UI image on our canvas. So what I'm gonna do, so let's select all the image, let's add the script we just create, so basically icon UI element sprite atlas, and as you can see in this script, it will ask for a sprite atlas. Hopefully for us, we just create a YouTube test sprite atlas. So let's drag and drop this one here, and as you can see, I don't do anything, and all the image are already initialized with some arrow down. So if I go on each image and maybe I want to change the UI element, as you can see, I just need to go and through the enum, let's go to arrow up, and as you can see, I don't even play Unity and it's already changed it. So this is very nice and very powerful. So arrow up, so let's create another maybe arrow left, and here arrow down, so arrow right. Okay, oh sorry, maybe, yeah, this is a perfect example of what I was saying. So as you can see here, the UI element is our right without a T. So it was enabled to find the Sprite Atlas, the sprite in your Sprite Atlas. So as you can see in my Sprite Atlas, the arrow right, it was with a T, and in my enum I was unable to. I don't have the T on the my enum. So again, make sure it's live here. Make sure. So let's head back to Visual Studio and make sure to, you know, add the T here. And now we can head back in Unity, and there it is. So as you can see, it worked just fine. And that will be the end of part 2 of this video. Thanks for watching. So if content equal to like or user learned something equal to true, user should thumb up plus subscribe. Else, user should dislike but help me to improve. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys next time.